looking at myself. It's so weird. Okay, don't be weird. Anyway, hello everyone. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Gabby. And that's all I have to say. I'm so happy you're here. This is my first video on YouTube, so if it sees the light of day, congratulations. Today we're going through what I read in May and my June TBR. So let's get into it. I don't even remember the order that I read these in. No, I do. I started off the month with The Devil Wears Prada. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a really light and easy read. Andrea just graduated college and she is moving to New York. She applies to work at Runway and she is an assistant to the editor-in-chief, and basically she knows it's going to be a terrible job, but if she works for Miranda, who is the editor-in-chief, she knows that Miranda's recommendation could get her any magazine job that she wants, and she really wants to work for the New Yorker. So this is kind of just like she'll, you know, suck it up for a year and work at Runway, and then she'll get everything she's ever dreamed of in life. But it basically just is really kind of like a day in the life kind of book. We see a lot of the same scenarios over and over again, having to get Miranda coffee, having to do Miranda's errands, having to do all of these fashion related things, set up fittings and things like that, like getting clothes in and whatever. Basically Miranda's a wench and is really insufferable and really difficult to please, but Andrea does it, and we kind of see how all of her relationships change. Her relationship with her best friend, how that's strained, her relationship with her boyfriend, that gets strained as well, her relationship with her family, because she really kind of just goes all in on her work, and her work is really demanding, so she's working all day, all night. If Miranda calls, she's there, regardless of the time, place, whatever else she was doing. So you kind of just you see her struggle through having like a work-life balance. And what else did I say? Yeah, that's kind of it. That was Devil Wears Prada. And then I read The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This is a thriller. The Devil Wears Prada was a literary fiction. I gave this, I believe, Girl on the Train. I gave this a 3.75 out of 5 stars. So we follow Rachel, who takes the same train to and from London every day, or, you know, every work day. And she people watches like the rest of us, and she always passes by this one block of homes. And so she looks in at their homes while they pass, and she like daydreams about the life that they live. She like makes up stories in her head, all of the great people watching stuff. And she's really invested in this one specific couple. And one of the days she sees that it appears like the wife is cheating on the husband. So she's like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And then come to find out, she sees on the news later, I think that day or that week, that the wife died. So she's like, oh my gosh, like I have to tell this lady's husband that she might have been cheating on him so that they can like have proper suspects for the murder, because, you know, when a wife gets killed, they always think it's the husband. But she is a raging alcoholic, so she's not really a reliable source. And as you come to find out, as you continue to read through the book, it turns out she has a lot more connections to this group of people and to this kind of like stretch of homes than you thought originally. So you're kind of reading through this, you're seeing her point of view. It's one point of view, and you're seeing her point of view as she kind of goes through the struggle of like trying to get people to believe her, trying to believe herself, and then the kind of mess that ensues from getting herself involved with this story that she was really never supposed to be in. She kind of self-inserted in these people's lives through daydreaming, and now she's like an active part of their story. So it was really interesting. It really kept me on my toes, and that was kind of it. It was a 3.75 out of 5, just because, I don't know, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. I didn't really think about it after I finished it, but it was really good, and while I was reading it, I was really engaged the whole time, so I couldn't give it a 4, but I also couldn't give it a 3, so 3 3/4 out of 5. So next I read Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I picked this up because I was at Barnes and I watched Sarah Crowley, and she loves this book and really recommends it. So when I was there, I thought the cover was cute. I was in the mood for a romance. I picked it up. This was not originally on my May TBR, but when I saw it, I had to have it. So I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. It is a romance. It is a childhood lovers, I guess. Yeah, like a childhood romance to adult romance. So basically what happens, oh, I know what it is. It's a second chance romance between these two characters, Macy and Elliot, who were childhood friends. They grew up, she has a weekend house right next to his house. So her and her dad used to stay the weekends at this place, and she grew up with Elliot, and they are obsessed with books. So they were always reading together and kind of growing that friendship and relationship. And so it's dual timelines. So you get to see their relationship develop as they were kind of younger and as kids. And then you also see when they bump into each other 10 years in the future, and kind of how strained their relationship is now. Because for some reason, Macy and Elliot have not spoken in 10 years, but you don't know why at the beginning of the book. So as you go through both timelines, you get to see their romance develop, but also you get to see their new chance at romance develop, but also that kind of tension and strain, and kind of slowly picking apart why they haven't spoken in 10 years. It was really good. I have lots of underlines in this book. It's honestly kind of cheesy. It's very much like, it could very much be a movie. It's very like chick flick, quintessential romance. But I really liked it. They're obsessed with books. I'm obsessed with books. It spoke to my word nerd heart. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. I really recommend this book. Next, I read A Shoe Story by Jane L. Rosen. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Esme comes from a small town, and basically what happened is that she was supposed to graduate college and move to New York and start her life in New York with her boyfriend, and she had everything set up. She had a job, she had a boyfriend, she had a place, she had all these things. Her parents get into a car crash, and her mother dies, and her dad's paralyzed. So she spends the next 7 years being the primary caretaker for her dad, and basically like abandoning all her dreams to take care of him. He passes away, and so now she is like, okay, well, now's time to do me and like figure out what I want in life. So she takes a dog sitting job in New York for 28 days. So she packs up all her stuff, moves to New York, and is gonna go dog sit and kind of find herself, test the waters, see if her ex-boyfriend is like still into her, still cute, has a girlfriend, suss out the vibe, whatever. But it's called The Shoe Story because Esme is obsessed with shoes, and it just so happens that the woman that she's dog sitting for has like the wildest shoe closet you've ever seen. Like every pair of designer shoes that you could think of, this woman has. And so Esme puts on a new pair of shoes every day and, tries to figure out what her life is like in New York. I really liked the secondary characters in this book, which is kind of uncommon, especially in like a finding yourself, career-driven, like new lease on life kind of book. I really like the secondary characters. And there was also a subplot of romance, which is awesome. And it's not, well, there is a subplot of romance for the main character, but there's also a subplot of romance for the secondary characters, which was nice because you get to see everybody kind of connecting. But yeah, it was really good. Kind of like Devil Wears Prada, a very light read, nothing crazy. It was kind of fun. Each chapter is named after like a specific shoe. So for example, this one, chapter 6, is the baby blue satin Jimmy Choo slingback pumps. So it was kind of cool to like look up the shoe and see what her vibe was, and kind of what she gets into in each pair of shoes. So it was really cute, and I liked it a lot. 3.5 stars. I don't think about it afterwards, but it was a really good read, really light, fun, refreshing. Yeah. Now, moving on to the June TBR. Thank you. Special shout out to my family. I took these books from their libraries at my cousin's house, and at my mom's house. So we'll get into these. The first one I have is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. This is a thriller. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. I posted it on my Instagram, if you want to follow, at Gabriella M. Bloom on Instagram. It's my bookstagram. But I posted it on my bookstagram, and I had a few people comment and say like, oh, my friend loved that book. So I'm going into it with good reviews. From what I understand, this is about a couple that like got divorced, and the main character's ex-husband like gets murdered or something. No, not gets murdered. I think a woman gets murdered in his apartment, and he hires her as his legal counsel. So he hires his ex-wife as his legal counsel, and it kind of goes from there. Honestly, all of these books, I did not read the synopsis on the back. I know very little other than the fact that other people liked them and said that they were good. So that was kind of where I was going with all of these. But yeah, so I heard this one was good. I'm really interested. This is the one I'm reading first, just because I've been wanting to get it for so long, and I never wanted to spend the money and buy it. And then my cousin had it at her house, and I was like, perfect, I'll take it from you. Next is The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Emily Henry has a cult following, and I've never read anything by her. And because I've heard mixed reviews that her writing is the best thing I've ever seen, or that it's the worst thing I've ever read and I wouldn't read it again. I've heard some people really like one of her other books. It's called Beach Read. So I don't know. It's kind of up and down with this. This one, I believe, let me quickly scan the back. Oh, okay. I always confuse this one with the plot of Beach Read. This one is that they are small town summer romance. I assume romance. And they spend every summer for a decade, they take one glorious week of vacation together. So I guess that they've been in a fight for however long, and now it's that 1 week in summer, and they're gonna see what happens, I guess. So I'm excited to read this one. I'm hoping that I like this book because I've been seeing a lot of good things about Happy Place by Emily Henry. Not to mention that the cover for Happy Place is so cute, and I really want it to add it to my shelves. So I'm hoping that I like this. This is kind of like my testing the waters book for Emily Henry, so if I like this one, then I'll probably buy Beach Read and Happy Place as well. Next is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Lots of romance this June, lots of summer vibes. I believe this is that they like live next to each other at a lake house or something like that. Oh look, the pull quote is from Emily Henry, so same vibe, I guess. 6 summers to fall in love, 1 moment to fall apart, a weekend to get it right. So small town summer romance. I'm excited to read this. I'm going to be spending a lot of time at the beach in June, hopefully. But yeah, again, I heard that this one was good. This author, Carly Fortune, just released a new book called Meet Me at the Lake. So if I like this one, I'll probably pick that one up too. And I've heard good things, so I'm excited. Next is Archer's Voice. This one, my cousin said was really good, so shout out, Emmy. I have no idea what this is about, other than the fact that, again, she said it was good. It says a love story, so I guess we're going for a romance. Based on what I read from the back, though, it seemed kind of spooky, basically. This guy doesn't talk, and so this is all about, like, when he speaks again, or, like, I guess getting him to speak, because something terrible happened. And I guess they're waiting for him to speak again. I assume that it's like romance / thriller mystery. The last book that I read about somebody not having a voice was Silent Patient, and that was creepy as heck. So I'm hoping that one's light and but still kind of like a thriller. The next is The Spanish Love Deception. This one is by Elena Armas. I'm really excited to read this because I don't think I've ever read a book by a Latina author. And I'm a Latina, so I'm excited. Because every time I read books that like reference any type of Spanish or Hispanic culture or anything like that, they honestly kind of suck because it's like very cliche. Everyone's speaking Spanglish. Like it's not, I don't know. Many authors don't do it right. So I'm excited to see what happens. And this one is, I believe, Enemies to Lovers, and maybe Grumpy Sunshine. Yes. Okay, yeah. This one is about Catalina, who basically needs a date to her sister's wedding and lied about it. So she is gonna do a fake dating trope, which I didn't think I liked, but I read, what did I read recently that had fake dating? And I was obsessed with it. Oh, A Shoe Story from my May TBR has fake dating in it for like a few chapters, and I really like that. So I'm excited to read this because I'm kind of into the fake dating trope recently. So again, another romance. We'll see where that goes. Then we have Where the Crawdads Sing. I have refused to watch this movie until I read the book, so I'm reading the book now. Apparently somebody died. They think it's this girl. It may or may not be this girl. We will find out. I'm kind of a stickler sometimes for not watching a movie until I read the book, so I'm just going to try and get through this so that I can immediately watch the movie directly after. Because I heard it was good. If He Had Been With Me, this is another one that Sarah Crowley and Haley Pham, both booktubers that I love, said were really good. This is young adult romance, so it's set in high school. So they, isn't that a character from an Emily Henry book? I don't know. Autumn and Finn used to date, now they don't. They're ignoring each other. Will they make things right? Yes or no? When I watched Sarah Crowley, Haley Pham, and Destiny, I can't remember her last name, did a book club, and they made Haley read this book, and Haley cried at the last page, and Sarah said that she cries a lot. And honestly, I kind of want a book to make me cry. I haven't had one of those lately, so putting my money on that one. And then the last one I have for my June TBR is Vow of Thieves. I read Den of Thieves, I want to say 2 months ago. I have it here on you can't see it, but this is my book cart down here. Oh, I always think it's Den of Thieves. Dance of Thieves. I read Dance of Thieves a few months ago. And I thought it was good. I don't think I rated it that highly. I think I gave it like a 3.5 or like a 3.75. Let me look. Yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Basically, this is an enemies to lovers. The main character, her name is Kazi. She is a, not necessarily a soldier. She's more like a secret agent, I guess you can compare it to, because these are fantasy books. This is fantasy, and she is like part of the Queen's little secret service type thing. And Jaden is the I guess now the man of the family for this really prominent family who owns a bunch of land in this kingdom that they're trying to take over, I guess, or have like better, not necessarily a better relationship with, but they're just trying to suss out because they think that the Ballinger family, which is Jace's family, oh man, is that not his name? That would be so embarrassing if that's not his name. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Jace's family is the Ballingers, and they claim to have like this historic hold over this large piece of land, and the Queen's like, nah, I don't know, buddy. So they send Kazi and everybody else. They're also looking for this guy who like screwed over the Queen massively, and that's kind of like her main mission. But then she runs into Jace, they get captured, they get chained together, so forced proximity, enemies to lovers. And it kind of just goes through the politics of, you know, the fantasy world and having land in a part of a kingdom that they don't think you rightfully own, and all of those kind of things. And Jace's desire to kind of maintain this head of the family position, because he is a leader and kind of like the king of this kingdom in a sense, while dealing with the fact that he and Kazi are kind of like into each other. I thought it was really good. There was a plot twist. I don't know. It was like 500 or 600 pages. Yeah, 505 pages. And the end, honestly, like, was like to be continued. Like, if it was to be a movie, like, it would have had one of those slides. And I was like, okay, like, definitely didn't need a second book. I didn't feel like. So basically, I only bought the second book to see if it was worth having a second book or not. I guess it's probably gonna go more into the politics of like defending their land. Yeah, Kazi and Jace have survived stronger and more in love than ever. Their new life now lies before them. The Ballingers will be outlaws no longer. Towards Watch will be a kingdom, and Kazi and Jace will meet all the challenges side by side together at last. But an ominous warning mars their journey back, and they soon find themselves tangled in a web of deceit, woven by their greatest enemies and unlikeliest allies. Yeah, there's more, but that's basically the gist. And again, the only reason why I picked up the second book was to see really kind of how they were going to build on that from the first book. What I really liked about the first book was that it was enemies to lovers, but they were both like having to be deceitful to each other. So it was really interesting as they kind of like were lying to each other, lying to themselves, and then the other person's trying to figure out where the lies end and where the truth begins. And it was kind of messy in that sense. So it was good. It took me a while to get into the first one, but the second one seems that it's shorter. Oh, it's not. It's 480 pages, so not that much shorter, but here's to hoping. So yeah. So that is the books I read in May and my June TBR. I'm hoping to make a reading vlog after this one. So we'll see how I do. Last month I had 6 books on my TBR. I Also had Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption and Happenstance on my TBR for last month, but I didn't end up getting to them. I usually read like 4 books a month, so like 1 a week, because I am a corporate girly. I do have a 9 to 5, so I can't always read. I can't read all day, you know, I have to wait till after work. So I'm excited to see how many I get through. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books on my TBR, so hopefully I'll get to 4 of them, but because it is summer, I'm hoping to spend more time kind of outside and off my phone, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get through more than 4, but we'll see. But yeah, see you guys in the next one. Okay. Done.